Hey everyone, this is just a very quick tutorial to show you how to install a modern responsive bearing kit. Now these bearing kits are just basically thinner bearings than the normal bearing. We're using a Bolt Part 2 for this. These also work with Icarus. They don't work with every yo-yo, so you want to make sure to check in advance before you install one of these. Different yo-yos might have different responsive kits, but this kit you're going to need this axle, which is going to be a slightly shorter axle than what comes on the Bolt, and this thinner bearing. So to get right into it, you take your yo-yo apart and you're going to remove your bearing and you're going to remove your screw. Now, if you're having a hard time removing the screw, if it's in there too tight, you can use a monkey wrench or a wrench of some sort. The thing is, I wouldn't recommend just doing this unless you're super careful. What I like to do is take a rubber band and just kind of put it on there. This is going to help protect your threads. And then when you go on, you can loosen it up. Once you get it loosened, you can just go ahead and take the post out. And just to show you the size comparison here, we've got the two stems. So we're going to use the shorter stem and the smaller bearing. That's kind of a little idea of the size. It's just a little, not quite half the size. So let's start with this post. And you're just going to put it in. You don't need a tool for this. You don't need to get it in tight. All you need to do is just get it started. And then you're going to put in your bearing. If you're playing responsive and you want it to be snappy, I would recommend using, this is a silicone grease from Traxxas. I use this on my weekenders to give them kind of a real nice snappy response. And what I'm going to do, instead of putting this on the bearing, I like to put it in the inner races right there where the bearing's going to sit. So you're going to do that on both sides. So a little dab of grease. Bam. You don't have to use the grease, but it's going to help. Otherwise, this is just a dry bearing. So with just a dry bearing, you are going to find that the yo-yo tends to want to sleep a lot, and it's sort of on the verge of being responsive. It's sort of, you'll give it a tug and sometimes it'll come up. Sometimes you'll still have to bind it. So if you want something that's going to snap to your hand, yeah, use some grease, some silicone grease. So now I've just put the bearing on and assemble the yo-yo. So when you decide you're kind of done with this style of play, or if you want to just kind of switch around, you totally want to hang on to your old post and your bearing. And these bearings I like to keep dry. I don't use any grease on them because I like them to be bind return. But yeah, all you're going to do is just take the yo-yo apart, take the stem out, this axle, take out the bearing, and replace it with these. It's very straightforward.